Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today I'm going to be doing a Fire King deck profile. So I'm really excited for this one because I actually haven't done a Fire King deck profile in a little while. I actually look back, it's been like 7 or 8 months since I actually updated this deck, and I'm really excited to do this one because it's just such a fun deck to be able to just go off with Garunics and be able to like loop Garunics and constantly be destroying monsters on the field, where your opponent can't even establish anything because you're just constantly destroying everything on the field. So, without further ado, guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell on there so you can become part of Notification Squad, and let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Fire King High Avatar Garunics. So basically this card's effect is that during the next standby phase, after this card was destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, you could special summon this card from your graveyard, and when you do, destroy all other monsters on the field, and then when this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the grave, you can special summon a Fire King monster from your deck, except another copy of yourself. So this card constantly floats onto the field, off the field, special summons other Fire King monsters from the deck to be able to loop them with other, Fire King cards and other fire support cards to just be able to just dominate the game, to be able to put this on the field. This card is such a good card and such an awesome card to just be able to just constantly loop. I'm really excited to see if they'll actually do a reloaded version of the Fire King deck, because I think it would be really nuts if they did. So, next we play Sacred Phoenix and Nefarious, or Nefertits. The Sacred Phoenix is really interesting because if this card is destroyed by card effect, you can special summon it during the next standby phase. And if this card is special summoned this way, destroy all spell and traps cards on the field. So this card kind of works in kind of like the opposite of what Garunics is. It destroys all spells and traps, where Garunics destroys all monsters. So I still play it as a one-of because you can actually put them both on the field at the same time. Put Garunics on the field first to destroy all monsters, and then put this on the field and then destroy all spells and traps to leave your opponent completely wide open for a head-on attack, which is really, really cool. Then we play 3 copies of Fire King Avatar Barong. Barong is really good because if a face-up Fire King monster you control is destroyed by a card effect, you can special summon this card from your hand, and then during the next standby phase, after this card was destroyed by a card effect and sent to the grave, you get to add a Fire King card from your deck to your hand, which is good to be able to search like Fire King Island, Fire King High Avatar Garunics, Onslaught of the Fire Kings, like anything that you need, Barong's gotcha. Then we play a little bit of negation in the form of Fire King Avatar Arvada. Arvada is super good. Okay, so Arvada is like one of the best normal summons in the deck. When a monster effect is activated while this card's on the field, you can negate the activation if you do destroy another fire monster in your hand or field. And if this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you get to target a fire beast warrior or wing beast monster in your graveyard and special summon it, but its effects are negated. Also, it's destroyed during the end phase. So this card can kind of help you loop your Garunixes and negate stuff all at the same time. Like, this card is so OP, it's ridiculous. Arvada is hands down the best normal summon in the entire deck because you're just going to have that extra negation, and this deck really needed that, and it just helps you so much. This card is so good in the deck. Then we play 2 Yangshis. I just play the 2 Yangshis. I feel like double Yangshi is the way to go now. Like I used to play it at 3, and I see some people playing it at 2. And I see some people playing it at 1, but I feel like 3 is a little bit too much now, because we have so many other cards that can pop other cards in our hand, and basically this is just an extra pop. If this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can destroy a card in your hand, or that you control. So it's a good 2 of, don't get me wrong, and it's a good card, but I just feel like 2 of is the perfect number. Then we also play 2 copies of Coach Soldier Wolfbark. Coach Soldier Wolfbark helps us get into Link plays and into XYZ plays a little bit, so it's a good 2 of. I play 2 of my own personal tech cards. Like, I've seen a couple of other people play this, but I think it's a good card to play in here, and that is 2 copies of Ninetail Fox. Ninetail Fox is interesting because you're never going to normal summon it. It's just going to stay in your hand. But the interesting thing is if you use something like Fire King Island and pop this in your hand, you can special summon 2 tokens that are fire zombies called Fox tokens. When you put them on the field, you can actually link them away to summon like the Fire Charmer Ablaze or Doolittle Chimera, or even link them away to something like Doolittle Chimera, and then use Doolittle Chimera to go in a Borreload, which Borreload can't be destroyed by card effects, so Borreload can live through a Garunix, which is cool. Then we play 3 copies of True King, the Vanisher, Amadeus, the Vanisher. I really feel like this is a good 3 of in this deck because it is such a good, like, This card is so good in this deck because basically what you want to do with this card is you destroy 2 cards in your hand, including a fire monster, which all we play is fire monsters anyways, so that's not that big of a deal. It gives us access to True King of all Calamities, which we don't go into all that much, but it's there if you need it kind of thing. So it's an option, and it just is a good 2900 beat stick that you can put on the field that can banish a monster your opponent controls and it doesn't target. So it's just an overall amazing card to put on the field. And I play as a 3-of because it never really clogs. If you have 2 monsters on the field, or 2 monsters in your hand, or 2 monsters on your field, or anything, you can chain it with Ninetail Fox and put 3 monsters on the field for free and not even use your normal summon to go into like Boral Sword if you want to. And it kind of is like a secondary sub-engine in this deck. Then for the last 3 monsters, we play 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom is really good because you just discard it and then stop your opponent from doing all their little searchings and stuff like that. So it's just an overall amazing card. So that's it for the monsters, guys. And with Ash Blossom being fire, we can actually say all of our monsters are fire. So that's really cool. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Call by the Grave. Call by the Grave is a really good card in here because you just don't want to deal with your opponent's hand traps. 1 copy of Monster Reborn. It helps you get like Runics back on the field so you can start getting your plays off again. 1 copy of Terraforming. Terraforming is super good in this deck because Terraforming just helps out so much to be able to, stop your opponent or get your Fire King Island onto your hand. We play a single copy of Double or Nothing because it's easy to OTK your opponent with Utopia the Lightning, or Utopia Double, and it's just so good and so easy with Coach Soldier Wolfbark to just put that on the field and just get so many different plays off of it. Then we play 1 copy of Circle of the Fire King. Circle of the Fire King is a really good card because basically it just lets you switch your Fire Kings out. Lets you target a fire monster you control and a fire monster in your graveyard, destroy the one on the field, and then special summon the one from the graveyard, which can be really, 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 really helpful to be able to just destroy them and kind of flip-flop your monsters to get the ones that you need out of the graveyard. Because if you have something on the field that's like a Arvada or something and you've already used it up, you can actually use this instead and bring your Garunix back. Then we play 3 copies of Rekindling because all of our low-level Fire King monsters have 200 defense. So we have like 8 targets in the main deck for this. So I play it at, that number. It just helps so much to be able to have a mass revival to link away into whatever you want to link away into. So it just makes a big, big, big difference in this deck. Then we play 3 copies of Onslaught of the Fire Kings. Onslaught of the Fire Kings, if you control no monsters, it makes your Garunix a Cyber Dragon from deck. You just get to instantly special summon a Fire, Wing Beast, Beast Warrior, or Beast monster from your deck, which is really cool, and we always are going to summon Garunix off of this to be able to get our crazy plays off. Then we play 3 copies of Fire King Island. Fire King Island is the MVP of the deck. Fire King Island is such a good card, it's ridiculous. If this face-up card in field spell zone is sent to the graveyard or banished, you destroy all monsters you control, which triggers all of your Fire King monsters. Then it also has 2 effects that you can only activate 1 of the effects per turn. During your main phase, you can destroy a fire monster or destroy a monster in your hand or that you control, and if you do, you get to add a Fire King monster from your deck to your hand, and it helps you out with bricking with your Fire Wing Beasts, that if you control no monsters, you can special summon a Fire Wing Beast monster from your hand. So it just instantly gets your Fire Wing Beast out of your hand, which is always going to be your Garunix or your Sacred Phoenix in your hand that you're going to kind of sometimes brick with, or you can destroy them to add a different Fire King from your deck to your hand, which can be really big. And then for the last 3 cards we play in the deck, it's 3 copies of Fire Formation Tinky. Fire Formation Tinky is such a good card in this deck because basically what you're going to do with this is add literally any of your monsters that you need back to your hand from your deck. Like your copies of your little Fire Kings like Barong, Arvada, Yangtze, Coach Soldier Wolfbark, like all of those are searchable with your copies of Tinky because they're all Beast Warriors. So it's really a big, card to be able to play, and it also makes them all gain 100 attack, so it makes them all 1900 normal summons, which is pretty good. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to be playing 1 copy of the Fire Charmer Ablaze. You do need a single copy of her. She really helps out in the deck, and I play her as a 2, or I play her as a 1 of because of her arrows, and she's just an overall good card in fire decks. I played 2 copies of Doolittle Chimera. Doolittle Chimera is really good for the arrows, and it boosts all of your fire monsters up by, the 500 boost. But the only thing that you have to keep in mind is that it does get destroyed. If you do the Grunix, then you put it on the field and it destroys itself, it has the ability that if this card is destroyed by battle or by card effect, you get to target a fire monster in your graveyard and add it back to your hand, which you can use that to your advantage sometimes to be able to add something back like an Ash Blossom. And then we play a single copy of Nightmare Unicorn just to bounce stuff if we need to. Boral Sword is here to OTK. If you know you've got the OTK, you can just make this. But if you don't have the OTK, you can make something like Boral Load. Boral Load, kind of a forgotten effect of Boral Load that people don't really remember that much, is neither player can target this card with card effects. And then once per turn, you can target one monster your opponent controls, and then it loses 500 attack. And your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to this activation. This is not, it's Boral Guard that actually prevents itself from being destroyed. So Boral Guard is the one that can't be destroyed. So this card's still pretty good, but you can actually change out one of them for a Boral Guard if you want to play Boral Guard so you can't get destroyed. And then we play a True King of All Calamity. True King of All Calamity is really good because you can just make this and put it on the field to be able to negate monster effects. 1 copy of Hope Harboring Dragon Titanic Galaxy. Hope Harboring Dragon Titanic Galaxy is really good to be able to negate spells, and sometimes you want to make this over 2 Garunixes just to be able to negate that stuff. Same thing with Divine Dragon Knight Felgrand. Felgrand is good because you can just protect stuff that you need to protect. 1 copy of Bujinti Kagetsuchi. This card's really good because it can live through a Garunix because it just detaches the material. Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Tiger King. Tiger King is pretty good too because it has the synergy with the fire formations. 1 copy of Baguska to kind of slow your opponent down while you're trying to put your monsters on board. Exiton Knight because we might need to blow board again. And then Utopia Double and Utopia, so we can go ahead and OTK our opponent just a little bit easier and be able to go after our opponent. But like I said, guys, definitely if you want to make something that's a little bit of change, you can put Boral Guard in here. I think Boral Guard is the one that prevents me from being destroyed by card effects. That's the one I was thinking about putting in here. Instead of Boral Load, you can change that out, and it's a really interesting tech card. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you really enjoyed this one. It's a really fun deck to play around with, and it's relatively budget too, because the majority of the stuff in the main deck came out of a structure deck and has been reprinted, so it's not that expensive of a deck. Like this is on the budget end of a fun fire deck. So anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell on there so you can become part of the notification squad, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See you around, guys.